I am so glad you are here. It is live on Wednesday, the 22nd of April, 2026. So let's talk, shall we? It is an amazing Wednesday. It's Earth Day. I am excited for that. I hope you guys have some time today to go out and just touch grass. If not plant something for Earth Day, that would be fantastic as well. Oh, we've got our Instagram friends on board now. Hello, everybody. So let's start with where we usually start. What are we drinking? What are we wearing? I've got some delightful Bacopa astragalus and goji berry in here. Delicious. Ooh, there's some burdock as well, I believe. Just trying to stay a little healthy. And of course, I have some of Tracy's treasures on today. I've got pink on one hand and purple on the other because this is a cut amethyst. And this one is a pink tourmaline. It's very, very dark pink, but it is a pink tourmaline. That's the basics for that part. New stuff to show you guys. And some announcements about classes and events. And of course, the readers. So let's get to the events. This Saturday, the 12th, wait a minute. No, this Saturday, the 25th, thank you. The 12 is for the time. At noon, Alliance Coven's 102 class continues. Again, if you just want to meet the folks involved, the class is closed, but show up around 2 when they're about to get out. And you can shake some hands, maybe have a quick conversation, and decide if maybe you want to go to the 101 class when it comes up, perhaps this fall. Great group of folks, delightful teachers. Definitely recommend them. Later that day is a by donation class led by Adam Walter. It's called Astrological Magic. It has been his most popular series so far, so do check it out if you have any interest at all in how you can incorporate astrology into your magical workings, because there's dozens of ways to do it. It's always a good class. Sunday, the 26th, we've got our Reiki share at 12. So if you are a Reiki first, second, or third degree and you just want to come in at noon and have a little chit chat about Reiki and your experiences and hear about other people's experiences while trading services, that would be fantastic. Come on by, come join us. It's fun. At 4 o'clock, we have Palmistry 101. That's with Eshu, our palm reader and tarot reader. It's always a good class. He's very good at his readings. And if you want to become a professional reader, I would just recommend taking those kinds of classes anyway. Of course, year 1 in herbal studies and year 3 in herbal studies are ongoing when we close up shop on Tuesday night and Wednesday night, respectively. We are having a blast. We did Materia Medica last night. I got to talk about things like Boneset and Buchu, and it's fantastic. Great group, actually. Love that group. Love the group I'm teaching tonight as well, the year 3s. If you want to start your herbal journey, learning about the magic, the medicine, the psychology of different herbs, we'll probably be starting that year 1 class up again in the fall, probably on Wednesday nights. So meets once a week for 1 to 2 hours, depending on the subject we're covering that week, for 9 months. So you can learn more about it on our website at magusbooks.com. In fact, at the QR code, if you're seeing a QR code up in that corner. Otherwise, just go to the site and hit the events tab and you can find the classes. On Friday, May 1st, on May Day itself, when we open up, we'll be having a memorial service for all of the people who have died in ICE custody or at the hands of ICE outside of ICE custody. When I last checked, that was 98 people, but we started with 96 when we started planning the event, and in a day it went up by another couple people. So we'll see how many people we're setting up for on Friday the 1st when we get there. We will have their names and their dates of death, and we will have lit a candle for each one. We'll start that at 12. We'll say the name of the person and light a candle for them. And we'll do that until they're all lit. And then we will leave the name, the date of death, and that candle burning until those candles go out. So if you want to come for the naming portion of the ceremony, or if you just want to come and pay your respects and have a look at those burning candles after they were lit, we'll be doing the mini candles. So they'll burn out definitely during the first half of our time here from noon to 6. I'd plan to be coming by in that first hour at some point if you really want to take a look, just so you can get them. And of course, that night we have a full moon ritual. We'll be doing a nice pagan full moon ritual on May 1st when we close up at 6. We've done one or two so far. They have been really fun. We've done one so far. It was loads of fun. So we're going to get to the second one for May Day, which is really cool. On Saturday, the 2nd, the next day, Saturday, the 2nd of May at 3, we've got Wes Eshu again, teaching American Hoodoo and folk magic. Now, he actually comes to this naturally. He's from New Orleans. His mother was of Irish Catholic extraction, father from, I think he said Trinidad. So family traditions galore in his magic, and as well as the local culture of New Orleans steeped in that magic. So come by, check it out. That is another by donation class, just like the astrological magic class and the palmistry 101 class. The following Saturday on the 9th, Alliance Coven will be here again from noon to 2. And again, it's not an open event, but you can certainly come by around 2 and meet some folks from that group, which is very cool. And at 3:30 on the 9th is Tea and Tarot. This will be the second Tea and Tarot class. We've got some tea. Bring a deck if you've got one. And apparently you guys will be getting into the Minor Arcana with Ravenwolf, one of our tarot readers here at the shop. So next month, Tea and Tarot will be taught by his teaching partner in this, Margaret, Queen of Rods tarot reader. And I got that right? I think I got that right. And the other thing I have to announce off my cute little piece of paper is parking. If you are trying to park here at the shop, the on-street parking is absolutely free, but it does fill up. When it does, I've spoken with the folks who manage the St. Clement Catholic Church that's a block away from us, and you are welcome to park in that parking lot. They'll definitely notify you if, there'll be lots of signs that'll look different. Right now, they've got a sign up saying that, basically they're closed for Art-A-Whirl because they're doing Art-A-Whirl. But that parking lot is almost always open. Right now, it is free to park in. That might be changing, but it's a great spot to park. It is, we're near Central and Lowry. It is from that intersection of Central Avenue and Lowry Avenue. It is 1/2 block west along Lowry Avenue, and it'll be on the south side of Lowry Avenue. So if you even get a block, you've gone too far. You passed the church. They own the whole back side of the block. So they don't face Central Avenue, but they're on the block that does. That's 1 block south of us. So that's where to park. That's what's going on. Let's talk about these fabulous readers we do have. I've mentioned 3 of them because 3 of them are doing classes, which is absolutely amazing. No, I mentioned 2. Adam doesn't do readings here anymore. But today, Wednesday, Eshu should be here the whole day long from noon to 6. He's also here tomorrow from noon to 3, Saturdays from noon to 3, and all day Sundays from noon to 6. Tomorrow, once Eshu's done at 3, we've got Daryl. Probably Daryl will, no, I apologize, Ravenwolf. Ravenwolf will be in from 3 to 6, and he's in again on Friday from 1 to 4, and Tuesdays from noon to 3. The other half of Tuesdays goes to probably Daryl, our Oracle card reader. He also reads the the first couple hours of Monday and the last 2 hours of Friday from 4 to 6. If you would like to get a reading with Margaret, who is the other teacher in the Tea and Tarot class that's been running lately, she only reads from 3 to 6. She's in demand as a reader. What can I say? All the readers are very good. Of course, they've had to pass an audition to read here, and they're all delightful. There is also Morpheus, who doesn't do readings, but he does dream interpretation in that same spot in our shop from 6 to 2 on Mondays. Really good dream interpretations. If you have had a dream that's bugged you and you've Googled, what does it mean when you get this in your dream, and you read the explanation, you're going, that makes absolutely no sense. That's insane. He is the guy to come talk to. He will help you figure out what it means for you. And that's super valuable. So that's what's going on. That's who you might want to run in here for. Let's talk about some of the cool stuff that's come in. I want to start actually with one of our readers' products that we have not had here before, which are his pendulums. So these are by probably Daryl. And I got these 3 in this case, little acrylic tool. So I've got one that has runes on it. So this one's got beads with runes. This one has skulls. It's got a little metal end. The runic one has a little stone end. And this one has a little cross at the top and a whole bunch of evil eyes for protection. So I really kind of like those 3. I've got 3 others he's done to show you as well. They are not hanging up in that spot. They're hanging up in the pendulum display next to that when it's on the counter. But these fit in the other one. So here is one. By the way, these are all $15. So I think they're a really good deal for something that's been put together by a local person. And this one's got all kinds of cute. It's got the tree, it's got the fairy, it's got the bird, it's got the bee. It's just an adorable little one. And then there's also this last one, another sort of rainbowy one with a cool rose quartz point. They're fantastic little pendulums. And at 15, I think it's a steal, to be honest with you. I can get some like machined ones for less, and we've got those out there. But if you're looking at those, heck, take a minute and see if one of the personalities of these speaks to you, because local, individually put together, everyone is a little different from every other one. And if you love it, there isn't a duplicate in this case. You're buying what is essentially a piece of art, as well as a pendulum. If you've never used a pendulum, by the way, I should. You're going to, if you want to test drive them, you're going to ask if you can look at a pendulum up close, if you can hold on to it, and you're going to hang it in your dominant hand. This is my right hand, which is a little bit my dominant hand. And you're going to, if you've never done it before, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to think about a no you would hate to hear, a yucky, horrible, awful, rotten no. And you're going to think about that no for maybe half a minute or so, maybe a minute. Then you're going to peek. You're going to see how it's moving. In my case, it's moving like this. Steady it again. Close your eyes again. And think of a yes, an amazing, wonderful, beautiful yes. And open your eyes. And this time it's circling. So for this pendulum, for me, if I see it moving in a straight line, I'm going to think no. If I see it moving in a circle, I'm going to think yes. That might not hold for the next pendulum I pick up. But now that I've established what yes and no are, I can ask it, are you the pendulum for me? And it can give me the answer. Now, I should add, some people really like to put their receptive hand, their non-dominant hand, underneath the pendulum, far enough away that you never touch it, but as a way of sort of containing a loop of energy. It's not a bad way to go. That's the local stuff. Now I have some cool little bits and bobs. One item I did not bring in, which are some rugs. They are hanging up behind the register. One is has pentacles on it. One is another magical theme on it. One has a witchy cat on it. They're cute. They're adorable. They're 100% cotton. They're the size of a slightly large welcome mat, I guess, with little tassels on the end. It's very... they're very cute. They'd be the right size if you want something to sit on, or if you want a rug somewhere where you stand frequently. They would be perfect for that. They're $30. They're a good deal. And then I have these little lights that they take batteries. But once you get the batteries in there, I think it's 3 AA's, triple A's. I think it's 3 AA's. This one has the Sabbats. This one has the constellations of the zodiac with the 13th ruler zodiac that kind of got dropped out of the system according to some. And then I've got one more for you ceremonialist folks out there. How could I resist, right? So those are in. And the other item I got in is this adorable spice rack. If I can bring it over here. Oh, it does come with some little labels so that you can like put a little label like on the side of the jar that says this is really basil, if that's what you want to do. But somebody asked me, what would you do with that? What would you put in the one that says hexes? Well, I went, well, if it's in my kitchen, I'm going to put my cold and flu tea in the hexes because I'm hexing that cold out of me. So you can absolutely find good purposes for all of these jars. We've got hexes, cures, brews, magic, poison, and potion. And I think they're adorable. We also got in some amazing, amazing new decks and books. I'm just going to move those pendulums a little further out of my way. Starting with the Anima Tarot. So you can confront your anima. You can see all of those cute little feminine figures on there, even when it could be a male figure. We have another reinterpretation or attempt to complete a historic deck, which is the Atelier. Don't come for me if I mispronounced it, but that's that one. That one's new out. We have, for those of you who are into horror, the Lovecraft Tarot, the Japanese Art Nouveau Tarot. You gotta love these cards. I suppose I should. Is there anything on the? Oh yes, the Lovecraft does have. That's the tower. Isn't that adorable? And then, oops, sorry, that must have been loud for you guys. I apologize. The Jane Austen Tarot. I noticed she's been making a comeback as well. There's a few cards on the back you can see. I also have some new release books, but I don't have all of them because we sold out of some. So I can't show you Queer Tarot today because I came and went. I got to get it again. And I order books from that publisher every Sunday. We'll have it again next week, as well as a host of other new releases that we have sold. But for those of you into the ceremonial magic, Summa Sacra Magicae, I have mentioned this book before, but when I talked about it before, it was parts 1 and 2. This is part 3 and 4. You got to love it. We've also got from Silver Ravenwolf, a nice hardcover, thick hardcover, on just classic spells that you might want to know about, that you might find handy. It's fantastic. And then I thought this one was clever. I have not had a chance to dig into this one as much as I would like to, but this is Create Your Own Afterlife. Take control of life after death. And if you look at a lot of older cultures that would be classed as having pagan religions, you can see some of them had that practice of you needed to know certain things before you died so you could get to the right place. Don't drink from the first well, drink from the second well, that kind of thing. And it always strikes me as an add-on mythologically, like the culture has to get to a certain point where they think they need more secrets. But I'm fascinated at that concept of determine what your afterlife is going to look like. And I'm sure we're all kind of accidentally doing that. If there's an afterlife, if you invest yourself in the idea of an afterlife, I am sure that on some level, we're all doing that to some extent, but to set time aside to do it deliberately and intentionally and create what you want, not what happens because of what you've done kind of thing. I think that's an interesting concept. I think it also gets you to think about consequences of your actions in a more long-term way. And that can be really helpful if you're trying to become a better person. I also have, in case you do want to work out some of your foibles in life, Embrace the Dark. Embrace the Dark. It's by Kelly Ann Street. And it's about hands-on exercises, inspiring stories from Kelly Ann Street in having been a therapist, and some of her practice is reflected in this book and some of the work she's done with people so they can go to their shadow side, uncover those pieces, work through them, and integrate into a more whole and hopefully happier, better human being than they were before. Embrace the Dark is worth it. And then we also have Olfactory Code. Olfactory. For those of you who don't know, olfactory would refer to things with scents in them, which is why you see a little perfume vial on the cover and so many herbs and things around the outside. So this is going to cover things like perfumes, incenses, flavored things. And she talks about individual herbs in parts of this book and recipes to go with them, whether they are recipes that are purely magical or they're cookies or combining herbs with salt. It's a fascinating little read, and it is a lot of fun, honestly. Have I done it? Oh, one more deck. I forgot. Oh, I did talk about Jane. Jane's here. I just didn't put her over here, so I forgot I mentioned her. That's what are we drinking, what are we wearing, what's happening, who can you get a reading from, and the cool stuff that has come in recently. I know you guys have loved probably Daryl's rune sets. And we've got one left. So he's bringing us a couple next week. And I think that will be amazing and fun. So come in to check those out. Or if you want to see the one we've got left, that is great as well. So those are my basics. Now, I had a wonderful person that I thought we'd arrange to have be interviewed here, but apparently not, because I emailed all the information and we must have miscommunicated something somewhere along the way. I thought we'd arrange for today, but that's all right. I'm not even going to tell you who it is because I don't want them to get in any trouble with anybody. They're wonderful people, I'm sure. Instead, we'll just have a little chit chat. It's Earth Day. Are you going to get out and touch the earth at least once? Like take your shoes and socks off if you can and like just stand in the ground, stand in the place where you live and take time. For those of you who know, you finished the song for me, and I thank you. But it's also a great day to work on healing magic. So if you would like to be part of healing the earth, if you would like to take some proactive steps in that direction, by all means, a little spell is not a bad idea. But a little spell can also involve planting something. Maybe this is the day you stop at that garden center or that grocery store and you pick up that packet of seeds for some veggie you actually like, that you'll actually eat. And you just clear a patch and you just plant them and see how they do. They might not do well. They might do great. You might have to water them. You might have to weed them. It's a little bit of a commitment. I admit this. But you don't have to start with a massive garden. You can start with something that's 2 feet by 2 feet and then just fill in from there. And some stuff is worth planting because it comes back year after year. My kiddo planted an oregano plant like 10 years ago or more in our front yard. It's still thriving. We still make oregano pesto every year. It is the gift that keeps on giving. So one of my goals for this year is asparagus. Why? Same principle. It is the gift that keeps on giving. I suppose that's a bit of a permaculture perspective, tiny bit like a permaculture perspective. Don't come after me, permaculturalists. But, I forgot to put up comments. Hi, everybody. But whether you're going like a really traditional gardening route or more of a, I want to be organic or permaculture, and the difference between organic and permaculture is with permaculture, you're trying to set up systems that are self-propelling to a greater degree than if you're just using organic gardening practices or traditional like pesticide-laden garden practices. In this case, this is going to involve more companion planting. It's going to involve, like for example, here where I live, it's really common to hear of the indigenous traditions around planting corn and beans, and I can't believe one of them left my head, but you plant all three together, the three sisters together, and the corn stalk is the stalk that the beans can run up to grow, and they feed the soil in different ways, so they actually complement each other in that sense. And it's just a nifty thing to look up if you're going to get into that side of Earth Day. Not looking to get into that side of Earth Day, I understand. I do understand. I have what I like to call the honey don't mow their garden, even though my honey's not here anymore. But honey don't mow their gardens are letting a part of your property just go to seed and see what happens. Sometimes you get nothing you want and you don't do it again the next year, or you move the spot. Sometimes you get morels in your front yard. Yes, you do. Sometimes you get roses, fields of daisies, all kinds of amazing things. I've gotten chicory, wonderful medicinal herbs, burdock, cleavers, things that are worth going out and harvesting. Ground ivy, which in Minnesota, where I am, is called Creeping Charlie. Yes, Creeping Charlie has medicinal uses. Look them up. They're a lot of fun. And it kind of tastes like dirty peppermint. Some would say metallic peppermint, but I say dirty peppermint. That's what it tastes like to me. Maybe it's a sign I don't have a lot of metals in my body. And it's been used for that too, which is interesting. Maybe all of that is just too much and you're sitting on a pile of cash and you're like, I'm going to make a donation to somebody who values Earth Day and will do something for me. Or you treat yourself to an article of clothing from a company that promises to plant a tree every time you buy a sock. They're out there. I've seen them. I'm sure you've seen them too. But if you can find a way to give a nod to the planet we live on today, good on you. I think that's amazing. But that's my thoughts on Earth Day, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that has come up recently, we've seen a lot of people coming in with court case issues and sometimes some really questionable interactions with police where you're like, that shouldn't have happened. If that's what's happening, somebody in the police department needs to be investigated. And because we're getting that kind of injustice magic right now, I thought I would take a minute. This is not, to me, very different than the ICE protests that were here in Minneapolis for a while. It is not about we don't want policing. It's about we want good policing. We want policing that protects the citizens, even the criminal citizens, but policing that puts value on the lives of both the officers and the civilians involved in every single interaction. So the stuff we've been getting people coming in for help with their magical workings, wanting ingredients or wanting advice or both, have really centered still on this idea of someone or a group of authority figures taking their power too far, doing things that are not safe for citizens and don't improve their safety in the long run, because if the citizenry doesn't trust the police, they're not going to want to do what the police say in a given interaction. It makes things worse for all of us. So some of the things that have come up, some of the herbs people have been wanting, it would include things like Lo-Jon. Lo-Jon is a really good spicy herb. It's a root. It's a relative of ginger, and it's been used as a substitute for ginger. I have a few cookbooks that ask for it, that call for it in some recipes. In my case, it's all dried because it doesn't grow anywhere near where I live. But it is absolutely one of those herbs that gets used to kick somebody in the pants. It's like, let's get moving. Let's make the change we need to make. It's a Marshall or Mars related plant. So think lots of aggression, lots of energy. So it's a good thing to add to any recipe that you're putting together, be it for incense, to make a magical oil, which I tend to recommend you make your own, but we'll get there. Or for you to keep on you in a little bag, whatever your tradition calls that little bag, that you're going to put some tools into, some herbs, maybe a crystal, maybe a little nail of some kind, depends on the type of spell you're doing. But this is one to add just to give it a little extra oomph. And it's a little more traditional than ginger for some folks, which is kind of nice. You also might go for Hi-Jon. Hi-Jon has gotten a little harder for us to source. It's out there, but it's a little tougher. But the Lo-Jon we always have right now. You also might turn to Calamus. Calamus is an interesting one magically. It's got local traditions that go back centuries upon centuries. It's got traditions coming out of ancient Egypt. There's all kinds of ways where Calamus has been used. I have even read about it being used by people drumming at powwows when they start to lose their voice, because they're usually also singing. They put that root in their mouth for a time, let that soothe their throat, and then they're able to sing again. That is the legend I have been told or read about. I believe first in Jean Rose's works, probably Herbs and Things. Really nice herb to work towards better justice, getting your voice heard, anything along those lines. If somebody asks me generically about communication and herbs, I'm going to talk about spearmint. It's a sweet mint. Mints are associated with communication, and the sweetness of the spearmint is supposed to sweeten your words so that they come across better to the people you're speaking to. That's lovely, but that's nowhere in the kind of magic that I'm talking about, where we're looking for justice when power might have been abused. We're past being sweet. We're done with the sweet talk at this point. So there's no spearmint in these as a general rule. I occasionally see it in recipes for this kind of stuff, but not as often as I see things like coriander or Lo-Jon or Hi-Jon or Calamus or maybe woodruff. That's about as sweet as it gets. I see woodruff in these blends sometimes, but really good if you're looking for help with a court case, if you're looking for help with some kind of trial, whether it's a criminal or civil court issue. These are herbs you want, and if you want to make an oil, I actually recommend you make your own magical oils because it's so easy. Now, if you know you're going to hit a problem again and again and again, do it the best way, do it the slow way. But if you need it now, because if there's a thing happening later this week or next week and you need it now, you can still make it at home. It won't have the same shelf life that one that you take 4 weeks to make will have. But someone was in, actually 2 people were in yesterday, and I went through it to both of them because they were both asking similar questions. You're going to take the amount of oil that you want in the end, and it shouldn't be a ton for this method because, again, it's not very shelf stable. It's going to last you a couple months maybe on the shelf in a jar. You're going to want to use this fast. So it's not going to be a lot of oil, but you're going to take that oil, and then you're going to add a little bit more because the herbs you're going to use are going to absorb some of the oil, and you need some oil to be left in the pan. And when you've got the oil in the pan, you're going to turn it on, put it on the heat, and you're going to heat it until that first wisp of smoke comes up. So You can kind of goof off for a couple minutes, but you're going to have to come back and kind of keep an eye on it, or find the smoking point of the oil and use a thermometer in the oil to tell you when that's happened. Both ways work. I have a candy thermometer. I don't usually get it out for this. I just watch for the wisp of smoke. I just think it's easier. When the wisp of smoke comes up, turn the heat off. Take it off the heat completely, and then gently pour in the herbs you want in there and stir. Once you've stirred, walk away. You need to walk away till it's cool. So leave it on the stovetop for a couple hours. Go do something else. Go get other stuff. Run an errand. Do something. Come back. Strain that oil into a container and squeeze the herbs. Get everything you can out of those herbs. Just squeeze them to get all the oil you can out. The herbs are fabulous compost at this point, but that's about it. Once you get the oil squeezed out, that's the oil you have to work with going forward. So hopefully it's only an ounce or two that you actually got. Maybe you put 3 or 4 ounces of oil in a pan, which is not a lot of oil. And you end up with 1 or 2 ounces left, probably 3 ounces, and you'll end up somewhere between 1 and 2 ounces. Depends on the herbs you put in. It really varies. But as soon as it's cool and you've got it strained, if there were any essential oils you wanted to add, for example, we were out of vetiver here, but vetiver was really necessary for one of the magical oils getting made. So we did essential oil. And the instructions were, of course, to, when it's cool and you've gotten it strained, go ahead and add just a drop or 2 of that vetiver oil, and you'll be in good shape. Shake it up every time you want to use it. Make sure you get all the components really well mixed in. But at that point, you have an oil, and if you're going to do some candle magic, you can dress the candle with it. You can rub a little bit of that oil on the outside of the candle, put it in its little stand, get it lit. That is one enhancement to your candle magic you can add pretty easily. You can also wear that oil to the event if you're going to be participating in a legal matter, or you're going to be there in support of somebody in a legal matter. You can wear the oil. One powerful meditation someone did while they were in court for a family member was they imagined the 4 archangels, one in each corner of the room. And they were able to do that so vividly and so strongly that they felt it had a positive effect on the outcome of those events. They got a thing they really needed for them to feel comfortable that the trial would be a fair one. I thought that was incredible and important. Not into the archangels, that's okay. You can ask for guidance from ancestors and do the same thing. From your favorite deities of justice, do the same thing. Whatever language speaks to your brain and to your subconscious, invite those beings into the courtroom to persuade everyone there to act justly. And it worked almost the whole way through. It's one snag, one injustice, not one I'm comfortable with, but one that we can all go fine to and move on from, because we have bigger fish to fry. It was that level of injustice. So the same holds true, by the way, if you want to do a spell for money. Often, if you need prosperity or cash, often the herbs that get used in that kind of magic working are spices, things that cost a lot of money to get to Europe, basically. I think that's why they're all associated with money, but you do you. There are other herbs that are associated with money as well, things that make lots of seeds, mustard, just about anything you can think of, that if the flower comes up with tons and tons of seeds, or the plant makes lots and lots of seeds, that's a sign of abundance. So those are also associated with wealth and money and good luck and all those things. Same thing. Heat that oil up to the smoke point, pull it off the heat, deep fry those herbs. Now, if you have more time, do a better job and don't heat the oil. Let it happen slowly. The catch there is that you really have to make sure the herbs are underneath the surface of the oil. They have to be here. If they start poking out of the surface of the oil, which might just mean you need to add more oil to your jar, they can rot. What's up here can rot. And if this rots, the batch is rotten. There are herbs that have a propensity toward rotting. There are herbs that are fairly impervious to it. So it's really going to depend on what herbs you're using, the odds that they'll actually mold. You have to let those herbs sit in that oil for usually about a month and you want to shake it every day, you're going to mix up. You're going to exchange wisdom in this jar right now. Put it down, walk away. You want to be super cautious, put it in the fridge, as long as it's not olive oil, because olive oil will just solidify in the fridge. But stick it in the fridge if it doesn't solidify in the fridge, and let it go even longer, frankly, because it's cold. It's going to take a little longer, but you again reduce the odds of anything like mold developing in the oil itself. These are the same rules, by the way, if you want to do an oil for cooking. The one thing I would advise you not to put in oil for eating is garlic, because something about putting it in olive oil and leaving it at room temperature creates botulism sometimes. So don't do that. That's a bad thing to do. There was a rash of it at one point and it hit the news, and I'm just letting you know in case you weren't there for it. Buy your garlic oil professionally made. Do not put garlic into olive oil unless you're going to use it right away. Just a safety note, just a simple safety note. I had a third-year student who didn't remember it, so I'm trying to tell everybody now. Well, folks, I don't know how the herbalist started talking about herbal magic, but there we are. Hopefully that author that I thought we'd arranged a time for will be back, and we'll do an interview on another day, and it'll be fabulous. Next week, I've got one of our fabulous folks coming in who's local, and the week after, I have another author for you guys. So cross your fingers that one goes well too. It should be loads of fun. I believe actually it's Eshu next week. So he will be talking about the classes he teaches and the services he offers. Amazing reader, highly recommend. In the meantime, though, have an amazing week. And hopefully I'll see you here for some of the little shorts that we do. Energy working on Sundays, meditation Mondays for your moment of Zen. Tuesdays are all about magic. Thursdays are all about herbs. Fridays are all about stones, because how could I resist stoned on Friday? And of course, Saturday is Divine Saturday. We have talked about tarot. We have talked about numerology. I believe we've even talked about runes at this point, and oracle decks. And right now we're talking about geomancy, which is this old sort of Northern European, kind of Anglo-Saxonish divination method that I would compare a little bit to I Ching. It is less complex though, because I Ching is about 3 rows that are either solid or 2 pieces done twice. So every figure is six rows. In geomancy, it's 4 rows, and it's either going to be 1 dot or 2 dots. It's kind of the same idea, but to a complication level of 4 versus 6. So we're just running through the figures right now. If you go way back, I talked about the shield method of coming up with a figure to answer your question. It's a fun divination method that I just don't think gets enough attention. So hopefully we'll see you there too. In the meantime, have an amazing week. Myself, the rest of the staff, we love you for being your amazing magical you. And of course, we love the little things that you can do here in social media land that are so very magical for us. I know you know what they are. Hopefully we get to see you soon, either in the shop in Minneapolis, 2520 Central Avenue Northeast, or online at magusbooks.com. QR code that's up today. Let me see. It's there if you can see it. That one's going to take you to our events page at magusbooks.com. And of course, if you see the banner, that's also a way to get to the website. Take care of yourselves and have an amazing week. Blessed be.